so bright right now. I wanted to give a little life update because I haven't picked up the camera, or that's actually not true. I haven't posted a video in almost 5 weeks now, which is really sad, and I have missed filming and recording and documenting and reflecting so much. I wanted to give a little bit of a life update, a little bit of context. Why is this getting so dark? I graduated from my university about a month ago, and that same day I moved out of my apartment to my parents' house, which is where I am now and where I am currently living. And then 2 days after that, I started my full-time job internship. So not technically a job, but my full-time internship. And my goodness, it has been an adjustment. I was unemployed before because I had studied abroad previously, and job market was so bad. I also didn't have a car at my university. So I just had such a hard time finding work. So I was unemployed for a minute, which is actually why I picked up YouTube in the first place. But yeah, now starting a full-time job, but also wanting to continue my, the things that I love, which is being creative and reflecting and yeah, documenting my life. I've really fallen in love with it in the past few videos that I've made. But yeah, so I've just been really adjusting to the last month and to working full-time and all that jazz. So I've been totally MIA, but with that huge adjustment, I feel like I really lost sight of myself, or lost a bit of connection with myself in that process. It's definitely gotten a lot better in the past couple weeks because I've been really implementing the things that I'm gonna be talking about and sharing about in this video. But yeah, that's kind of where, I just wanted to give, oh my gosh, such a big wasp. I just wanted to give a life update as to what's going on and I guess say hello. Yeah, right now I'm in the backyard sitting on a hammock. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading. I'm currently reading Night Bitch, which is a new book for me. I've only read it for I think 1 day, but I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I wanted to first kind of share the biggest thing that I have to share, which is some words about creativity. And kind of gratitude. I realized that I've been in the past month where I've really been feeling disconnected to myself. I think that something that's been grounding me so much and kind of rooting me back into my roots is really taking some moments to express gratitude, and whether that's right before the shower, which I think is a really great time to kind of slow down and express gratitude, or whether it's through my journaling, which I've been doing. Yeah, I just think that rooting into gratitude is kind of a really big way to take control back into your life and kind of find yourself, because you get to reflect on what you already have and who you already are and all the beautiful things that your life has to offer. So gratitude has been a really big way that I've been grounding myself in this huge time of transition. Yeah, I wanted to speak a little bit about creativity and kind of creativity in the realm of self-discovery, or a journey back to yourself. I was journaling and I was really reflecting and kind of speaking that art and many times expressing myself, creativity are my biggest moments of connections and self-discovery in my life. I am a reflection of the art that I create, and losing touch of my creativity is losing touch of myself. I feel like that was a really big epiphany that I had. In those moments when I'm feeling disconnected with myself, I've kind of been reflecting and being have I been expressing myself? Have I been really spending time with myself and letting myself explore these forms of self-expression? Something that I saw on Pinterest that really stuck with me was, it said, fall in love with your passions, not your distractions, which I thought was really moving. I think that when I'm in phases where I'm on my phone a lot, or watching TV that doesn't fill me up, or just really consuming media that doesn't fill me up, I really lose myself. When I'm not, especially since working, when I'm spending so much of my time not reflecting and spending actually quality time with myself, I slip away so fast. And I even noticed that I have to really reflect on what quality time with myself really means. I've gone through phases where I am spending a lot of intentional time with myself, but I'm also listening to a podcast at the same time, or I'm like watching a great YouTube video, but I'm not like actually listening to my head. And the last time that I felt like this, where I've been disconnected with myself, I realized that it was because even though I was spending alone time with myself and like painting and doing art and all this stuff, I was doing all of that while having something in my ear, whether that's a podcast or a YouTube video. And I was like, I'm not giving myself to like actually let my thoughts manifest, and I'm not actually letting myself like reflect on everything that's going on and reflect about who I am and how I'm changing and life that's unfolding. Like, I felt like that was a really big epiphany that I had, is like, what does the time that I'm spending with myself actually look like? Like, am I actually really listening to myself? I think that, like, to come back to yourself, you really have to dedicate the time to listen to yourself, and reflect on what type of media that you're consuming, whether it's too much TikTok, whatever. For me, I was reading the Hunger Games book, and I read like 3 books in 1 month, like the first 3 books in 1 month. Oh, it's a beautiful blue jay. That was really pretty. I read 3 books in 1 month, and then I got to the fourth book, and I just had no desire to read. And then after about a month of not reading at all, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pick up a new book. And I've been feeling so much more inspired recently. I was also like watching Love Island for the first like couple weeks that it was coming out, and I was like loving it, but then I would realize I would like get anxiety from it just because I'm so sensitive, and I just have a really hard time with like, I don't know, drama, reality TV. I just feel like I don't know, it just really affects me. And so I like took the time, and I was like really listening to myself, and I kind of came up with a decision, as silly as it may be, as small as it may seem, to stop watching Love Island and like use my downtime more intentionally, and instead of watching TV, journal, read, whatever. So I think that like really paying attention to what type of media that you're consuming is really huge. And then I think like the biggest tip that I want to share right now is presence, which I know is so like oversaturated, but like truly sitting and not having any distractions. Like, I like to ask myself, when is the last time I literally was like staring at a wall, staring at trees, like not reading a book, like literally just sitting and being and listening to my senses and reflecting on what is going on around me. And a lot of the times I don't have an answer for the last time that I did that, but I think that like being present, even if it's for 3 minutes, and literally being like, okay, for these 3 minutes I'm gonna think about what I can smell, hear, feel, taste, see. I think that is such a big step that you can take to grounding yourself and coming back to yourself. Also, falling back in love with how incredibly stimulating nature is. Like right now, a bird just flew over me and I saw its shadows like dance across the ground. Like right now I'm watching these like little gnats, like, I don't know, like be in like a flurry in front of me, and like the trees are so like intricate and beautiful and are like humming to me. Like, I don't know, nature is just so stimulating, and I think that we really lose sight of that when we are so addicted to the crazy stimulation of like being on our phone. But I think that like rediscovering how entertaining and stimulating nature is such a healing and beautiful thing. And like, you know, I think that like nature is a reflection of us as humans, so connecting with nature is definitely like connecting to ourselves for sure. This is like my favorite like space to occupy, or just like favorite like state to be in, where I'm like in the sun. I don't even have to be in the sun. This is so nice to be like at evening, but just like so much physical media to partake in. Like, this is just so exciting to me. I've been feeling so anxious all day, and then I was like, let me just whip out my resources, and now I'm feeling so much better. I've got a mango orange spindrift. This is like a new flavor, I think. I'm like an avid spindrift fan. I've got my oil pastels that I have been trying to explore. I've never done this before. My dad's an artist, and he kind of like showed me how to do it, so I've been like, this one's really not my favorite, but I've just been like trying it out. I liked how this one turned out. I don't know if you can see it, but I made like a little apple and like a little horse. I don't know. It's just fun to try new mediums. Like, again, physical media is, it's what makes my world go round. So I've got little pastels. I'm gonna do some journaling because I have so much to reflect on. Let me just take some space and reflect. And then I always love reflecting with my sticker book. I feel like I've talked about this like a million times, but I just love going through, picking, I'm like, what really signifies me right now? What matches where I'm at? And then my super sweet partner handmade me this traveler's book for graduation, and he put, it's so cute. I need to like fill her up because she's definitely very empty, but he put a Sudoku book in here, and this is like the easy Sudoku book, and it's been so hard, but this has been keeping me off my phone, like just sitting here, and then it takes me like, I've only completed one, like I keep like messing up, but it takes me a really long time to do them. So I'm like, this is just fills me up with so much joy, just like looking at this table and being like, there's just so much that I can do, and none of these involves being on electronics. I just wanted to pop in and maybe give a gentle reminder, if you need this or this pertains to you, just to be really gentle with yourself. I think that losing touch and losing sight of yourself is a really complicated and definitely like uncomfortable phase to be in, and I think it's really easy to judge yourself when you're in those phases, or just become really frustrated, whether that frustration is with life, with yourself, with the people around you, with your situation, whatever it may be. I think it's just really important to try and move as gracefully as you can in those situations with yourself. I noticed that like having a shift in perspective really helps me. So if I'm going through a really like uncomfortable phase, or I just feel weird and awkward and kind of like an in-between phase of my life, I really do view those awkward periods as a beautiful thing, because I'm like, this just means that I'm growing. Like whether I'm growing out of relationships, out of a job, out of a living situation, school, friends, whatever it may be, those transitional periods of things not fitting that maybe used to fit are such a beautiful thing, because it really just means that you're growing. And I think that is such a beautiful part of life and necessary part of life, something that everyone goes through. But I think it's really easy, in particular if you feel like you're losing touch with yourself, to be hard on yourself, like, oh, I'm not reading as much as I should, I'm not doing yoga as much as I should, I'm not meditating as much as I should, things like that. And I just think that that's really not necessary. I think that like having discipline with yourself is important, but I think that having love with yourself during awkward, tough periods is even more important. And I think it's really impactful to act out of love in these tough transitional periods, like to love yourself out of a situation that doesn't fit you anymore, if that makes any sense. Losing touch of yourself is so important to growing and to really developing who you are and to settling into who you are. Like I think that like periods where you're really like disconnected and like away from yourself just makes when you finally do come back to yourself so much harder. And I feel like you come back to yourself on such a deeper, more intimate level because you were able to fight through that like resistance and challenge and discover new things about you along the way. I just think that like these awkward periods and periods where you're like, whatever, I feel disconnected, I feel weird, have so much value and are such a gift, because when you come out on the other side, I feel like life is just different and a lot more intimate and beautiful. So I think just have grace with yourselves. Like remember that these awkward periods are inevitable, and don't be too hard on yourself for losing touch, for doom scrolling too much, for not doing what you think that you should be doing.
I think that if you just have the mindset of wanting to show up in every situation with love and show up for yourself in the most loving way possible, and even if it doesn't mean that you're doing that 100% of the time, just still having that intention every day can make the process a lot easier, because this is an uncomfortable period, losing touch of yourself, and you just don't need to add extra unnecessary stress to yourself.